Neal Adams brought realism and believability to the superhero genre when he began working in comic books in the mid-60s. He changed the face of the art form by coupling photorealism with dynamic action. In the pages of a comic called Dead Man, he began experimenting with page layout and form. And he did some astonishing work with Denny O'Neil on Green Lantern and Green Arrow. Very high social conscience in that strip, all through the 60s during the days of upheaval in this country, reflecting what our nation was going through. And then he went to work on the X-Men and the Avengers. And then, most importantly, he rescued the Batman from the swamp of television camp to which the Batman had sunk. And he made him once again the Dark Knight detective, a creature of night and the city, a creature that criminals would fear, the Batman we know today. He's currently publishing his own line of comic books for Continuity Graphics.
Dead Man was an opportunity to experiment with page format and layout. And I got a little radical on it. I have to admit, it was probably totally rambunctious and out of order for me to do, but I think probably the opportunity to stretch the medium a little bit, to create compositions that were in a medium that was truly its own medium. It wasn't like film where you could only see one picture at a time. It wasn't like comic strips, which I had done for a period of time and I was limited to a certain format. Here was a big rectangular page and I could do anywhere between one drawing and 10 drawings on that page. And I could compose the page any way I wanted to. And I had certain attitudes about composing pages, which I had developed doing a syndicated strip, and I felt that I could lead the eye, that I could catch the reader and I could make him read the way I wanted him to read, that I could make him stop when I wanted him to stop by composing the pictures a certain way, that I could actually become one with the reader. If he was willing to go with me, if he was willing to read what I was doing, then I could, if I could just grab him by the throat, then he would follow and read in the way I wanted him to read. Dead Man was perhaps the most successful experiment in that area. You can read a Dead Man comic book and you almost unconsciously know when I want you to slow down or when I want you to speed up. You almost unconsciously know when I want you to slide through panels or when I want you to jump through panels. Just as a director will handle a different type of story a different way, our job as the artist and writer at times is to tell the story the way it suits the story. After all, as Shakespeare would say, the play is the thing. It's not the artist, it's not the director, it's not the producer, it's the story. If you're not faithful to the story, if the play isn't the thing, then why are you doing it in the first place? Well, in comic books, as with film, as with everything else, we're all servants of the story. We can warp the story, we can make it incorrect, or we can do it in a way that we believe is correct. If people agree with us, they'll like it. If they don't agree with us, they'll hate us. And in my case, I've been very lucky. People have liked the things that I've done. Batman was originally created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson as this creature of the night who would scare the bejesus out of anybody he ran across, and criminals in particular. Whether or not he was right or whether this would work, that's what he did. That was what Batman was all about. And that's what I tried to return him to. So I think that one could say that Frank Miller, working on Batman now, has done more to make a more solid character out of Batman. At that time, at the time I entered my little editorialism into it, what I did was I brought him back to what he was supposed to be. Now people are playing with it within that framework, and I think doing a very good job. A comic book is as good as a writer who's sincerely talented and tries hard, and an artist who is very talented and tries very hard can make it. That's how good it can be. So if you put a good artist and a good writer together, and they try really hard to do something good, it just got to be a good comic book. And it can't be trash. It can only be viewed as trash by people who think of it that way. The things that are presented in comic books are good. The ideals are real and good. And kids like them. They're, as far as I know, the only medium outside of perhaps movies, the only reading medium that a kid will take money out of his own pocket and buy. because he wants to read it. He'll even go to the dictionary to look up a word so he knows what this guy says. There's something important there. And Europeans think Americans are missing the boat. Maybe we are.